Good morning, Denise Dryden. I'm up here on the North Fork of the Flathead River in this tiny little one-bedroom cabin that's just been this oasis. It's been this place of complete fun and creativity and like everything. It's just been amazing. So I thought I would talk to you today about creativity and sort of the relationship that it has with security and see if there's something there. See if there's something we can play with, okay? So I wanted to start with a couple of examples of what I've heard. I'm just going to fix this thing on my, there it is. Well, the whole screen was blanking out my phone, so I had no idea who's talking or who's saying hi Kelly, or any of that. So I'm on Facebook Live, which means that there's going to be times when someone puts a heart or says hi or something like that. So if you're on YouTube or LinkedIn later, that's what's going on. So I had 3 stories come up today that I thought were kind of interesting, or this last week. One is that I had a friend ask me if at my age, at 58, was I being really smart? Was I thinking about all the options when I decided to leave the security of a relationship, a home, and take off and go to Bainbridge on my own to start over? And I thought about that, and I thought, at my age, so at 58, I wonder if there's a line, you know, where we can't be creative or we can't be free anymore, and what that means. So that's one. I worked with 2 adults this week who were in that place of, you know, here's money and here's the house payments and the life that they've wanted to create, right? And then there's this invitation to do something else. And there's no ability to reconcile the choices between those two as they sort of pull. And they've created such deep pain in these clients. And I thought that that's another example of what happens when we cling to what we know we need and then what we know our heart wants, right? So the third one is I work with a lot of my primary work is supporting parents who have teens in therapeutic programs. So, you know, their child goes to Wilderness and has some assessment work done, and then they end up in a 12, 15, 18-month therapeutic high school. And the parents are like, you know, the grades have been horrible for the last year or 2, or there have never been grades. But there's this track in their head, college, SATs, college applications, SATs, GPA, you know, college research, all of that. And prying, literally prying that agenda or that timeline out of the hands of some of these parents has been a challenge, which is what happens when their kiddo is struggling because of that track, that traditional track of, you know, high school, college, expectations of the family, and they want to do something different. And all of their symptomology is coming up to say, you know, I'm a sensitive human being, highly sensitive, creative, need more flexibility, and need to grow. So those are the 3 that sort of prompted this topic today. So of course, you know, I always kind of start a little bit with this idea of some definitions. So security is the quality or state of being secure, okay? So it's freedom from danger. It's freedom from fear or anxiety. It's something that's pledged or given with a certain obligation. And it's something that secures us, right? So it's fixed, or it's fastened, or it's attached to something. so that it doesn't give way, it doesn't break, it doesn't collapse, it doesn't fall apart. It doesn't get loose, it doesn't get lost. And when we attach firmly to something, there's a part of us that goes, I can relax. And I understand that. You know, I used to travel with kids in a water ski boat, and we didn't have a dock or a buoy out in the water to anchor onto. And so what we had to do was come up with a rock anchor up on the shore, and then put a rock anchor out at the back and tie it to the back of the boat and make sure that there was no tension and hope that the winds didn't pull those ropes apart, right? And so there'd be part of me that would not sleep all night if it was windy. Like, what am I going to do if the boat gets loose and it comes up against the rocks, right? So we want to firmly attach something so that it takes our worry down. It alleviates that stress. So in Latin, secure comes from securus, which is to freedom from care. You know, the freedom to feel, to care, that's quiet, that's easy, that's tranquil. It means free of danger. So what can we do, really, to provide enough freedom to care, to go do something else and not have this little thing going, wow, what happened? What's going on? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And that happens a lot in our culture, whether it's our jobs, whether it's our house payments, whether it's our security, whether it's our relationships, whether it's our nation and our politics. All of those things are going like, are we secure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And it's feeding this, and all we're doing is coming in and gripping in fear and going like, I don't feel secure. I don't know how to let go. And we want to hold on tighter and tighter and tighter. And what I want to know is, what's the relationship between creativity and security? So when we are free to care, when we know that something is secure and we don't have to worry about it, there's freedom from fear, freedom from anxiety. You know, what does that allow us to do? Because creativity is the use of imagination. It's it's what happens when we give ourselves permission to create new ideas, to be receptive to what wants to happen, responsive, where we can pick up on something and go, that was really good. Now I'm going to let go of what I know, and I'm going to let it inform me. I'm going to find out what it wants, and I'm going to go there. So I need to be able to follow that without being gripped in fear, right? So it's the ability to transcend the usual, the traditional ideas, rules, patterns, relationships, and create meaningful new ideas, new products, new forms, new methods, anything new. And when we think of, creating, it's bringing something new into existence. So how do we feed our creative children, our sensitive, magnificent children, and our creative needs inside of us, which I'm going to say is also that feminine energy that's out of balance with us on our earth right now, which is, how do we feed that creativity and let it come forward and not use security as an anchor that says, I can't unless that's done. So what I came up with is that it's both. It's both. If we're anchored in and we're secure, then we can also, and I just used the figure 8, right? The manifestation 8, the infinity sign on its side. So we have security on this side, and we have creativity, which is, how do I batten down the hatches, tie something in, trust that it's there, and then allow myself to go over to this side and explore what wants to happen. So the intersection between these two, right here in the middle, is trust. And so in order to be creative, we have to trust our environment and know that we're not going to be killed. We're not going to be imprisoned. We're not going to lose everything we value, and that the world needs creativity. And that means that we also have to trust that our world is safe, and that our children are safe, and that whatever form of education they go through is what they need. So it's sort of like, wherever we live, whatever car we drive, whatever happens, that there's a security there that is anchored in and supports us, and we trust that it's there, and we also trust that ability to be flexible and to follow what wants to happen, to be adaptive and create something new as a parent, in a relationship, at your job, in life as a whole. How do we create something new and value that we're safe and secure? Let's see if there's anything else here. I was all over the place. So it's a balancing act, and we're going to go back and forth. I don't know if I feel secure. Yes, I do. Here, let me create. I don't know if, I feel a tremendous amount of security, and now I can create. And so again, going back to this trust place. And so in order to build this trust place, we have to go back to some of those tools we've talked about, which is, how do I identify when I'm not feeling safe and when I don't trust? And how can I assess that? So it takes some self-awareness. It takes some self-honesty and exploration. It takes some self-soothing tools, which is when I have anxiety that comes up, when I get a little triggered, what do I do? And so, I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. I think I'm at the last cabin before all the resources stop and everything is off the grid further up the North Fork. The power went out. I was gripped in that terrifying fear. And then it was like, what self-soothing tools do I need to put into place so that I bring my nervous system back down into a calm place, and then start to go, what's the most beautiful part about being in the mountains right now? Without power, candles, wood stove, heat coming from it, and let some of that part just sort of calm me down and take me back into the creativity that I know. So this is what I do. We work on different parts of it, and then we come into something that's really core, like a piece of trust, and some tools to build that. So if this is something you're interested in, let me know. Give me a call. We'll have some tea over the phone and find out if I'm the right fit for you as a coach, or if there's more information on these videos that I've been doing that you can access. So you can find me at DeniseDrydenCoaching.com, and have a fabulous Sunday. It's pouring. I was going to go stand out at the river, but it's pouring out there. So stay dry if you're in Montana.